Morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question to the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsockеtradio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
It's Coffee Ann here on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us Thursday morning, February 20th. And I'm Joe Callahan. Across the table from me, there's Bob Lauder. Hi, Bob.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
Good to have you here. Sue Tessier-McKenzie from the Blackstone Valley Call-in-Times is here. Hi, Sue.
Good morning.
And we're being joined by the former mayor of the town of Cumberland, Bill Murray, on the program today as well, because Bill always has some fun opinions on just about everything, including me.
Well, I hope so.
Last week, man, you were talking about how great you were on all the teams you'd been on in high school. And
Wait a
fortunately,
minute.
Bill has come in
I
to
don't
set
remember
the
that.
record
See,
straight.
Sue doesn't remember
I
that.
don't remember that.
I said,
Oh,
no, what we brought up last week was like, was the whole Raphael Devers, I don't want to not play third.
I'm not playing.
Third.
Yep.
Now Bill was the coach.
I know.
Okay. And so if Bill said to me, Joe, go play right field, I never said no. you went and played right field.
But did he ever say that, or did he just say,
Well,
Bill?
sure.
but did you look at your face?
Well, I wouldn't be happy about it. Being happy's got nothing to
see?
do with it.
Oh, I thought he just said, Joe, sit down here at the end of the bench
Well,
and
he
keep
also
a
said, but he
space.
did say
Keep
that
it
too.
warm.
Well, I did. He did a good job too, by the way. He was one of the.
I
He did a great
was
job
excellent at that.
on the bench.
I can cheer them on with the best of them.
That's
there,
right.
Bob. All right, we're gonna get that. I saved this from yesterday, Bob.
Uh-oh.
Because it's a good legal ease kind of thing. And now I know you don't do criminal work. I get
Right.
it, but maybe you can because we were having trouble understanding this, and it's got the whole. Everybody follow the Karen Reed case up there in Massachusetts?
No, well, but
Okay.
I've seen it. How can you not?
This happened a couple of days ago. The judge in the Karen Reed case has ordered a hearing after the prosecution leveled serious allegations against the defense. Okay? The new prosecutor, Hank Brennan, accused the defense of coordinating testimony with expert crash reconstruction witnesses after telling the court they were retained independently. So the judge immediately ended a motion hearing that was going on, warning that the information could have a profound effect on the defense and the defense counsel. What does that mean in layman's terms?
It sounds as though the defense had said independent people have come in to will be testifying. And now it's apparent that they're not independent. They've been retained by the defense. They have been talking with the
prosecutor.
defense.
I was just going to say the
They were
prosecutor.
retained by the prosecutor.
Prosecutor, I'm sorry. That they've been talking with the prosecutor, and the allegation is that they may be twisting their testimony to match what the prosecution is looking for. And that would be a serious challenge, because if the prosecution has said these are independent people, they're making their decisions completely
Okay.
based on their independent analysis of the case, and then it's discovered that the prosecution has been sort of coaching them, talking with them about what is important to the case, that would be serious, yeah.
So the judge was right in stopping what was happening and saying, okay, we gotta stop this motion hearing right now.
get to the
because
bottom
what,
of it.
Because of what
Yeah.
you just said.
I would think so, yes.
Wow. So, okay. There's always something new in this
Right.
case. It's twists and turns like you wouldn't believe. Can't make this stuff up.
Right?
All right.
So many people are following it, though.
Yes.
I think they've lost a lot of people, though. Because I've known a lot of them talking about it, and for some reason, I think because of all these twists and turns, people are just kind of falling away from it.
That's possible.
Yeah.
Wait for the trial to start again.
Yeah,
And then
Yes,
they'll
I was
never
just
be
going
able
to say,
all
wait
come
for it to
rushing
start
back.
again.
You're right.
They'll be all there. Okay, what's going on this day and that day? You got to watch it, Bob. This is it's exciting stuff.
I remember when the O.J. Simpson trial was coming on, we brought a big TV into the office so I
watch
could
it?
watch that.
Yeah.
And after the first day, I realized it was
Dull?
just a show that wasn't real. And no,
Really?
we never watched it again.
All right. We were past this story today, and I didn't realize this was going on. And now Bill might be aware of it. Sue might be aware of it. Bob, sorry.
It's a sports question.
Sports related.
Bob,
I'll
maybe
go out,
not so
I'll
much.
go out and have a coffee.
Yeah,
Yeah,
please
right,
do.
yeah, right.
Guys,
Oh.
tickets for the Four Nation Face-Off Championship game tonight
$1,000
are selling at Super Bowl prices.
Yeah, yep.
And I went, what?
Right?
$1,200.
and they're selling, and they're going to have a full crowd in there.
Oh, it's going to be a sellout.
Well, if you watch the first game
I've
against
watched all the games.
well, I have too, and I mean that set the stage even without it because
Yeah.
Boston's a big hockey
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
community, and that doesn't surprise me. They're going to take advantage of getting this getting the money while they can. But after that first game, who is not going to watch it? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
it was.
Well, Bob's not.
No, well,
For me, that
I'm
little
not
lady
either,
in
quite
South
frankly.
Attleboro, could you tell me what you're talking about? What kind of games? Who's playing?
They decided to have a tournament, and it's called the hockey
Hockey,
tournament. And
okay.
it's a four-nation tournament.
4 nations.
USA, Canada, Sweden, Finland.
Okay.
All right. And they all started, they all going to play each other. And now the championship game is tonight, and it's USA versus Canada. Now, the rub is
Oh.
USA played Canada.
In the regular-
When was this? Last weekend?
Last week.
Okay.
Yep.
Even when the public address announcer said, please, he said it twice, please respect the national anthems of both countries. And now here's the national anthem for the United States. Immediately, the Canadian fans started booing.
They booed it.
And that was in
The
Canada.
In
Yes.
Canada. In Canada. Now
And-
it's in Boston.
And then the Canadian national anthem came on, and boy, the Canadians really know their national anthem.
Oh, yeah.
They belt it out like crazy.
It actually is a beautiful anthem.
It is.
I've been to
And
many hockey games when my son played in Canada, and
I knew a sports writer that said every nation should have the Canadian
Yeah,
national anthem as their
yeah,
national
it's a
anthem,
beautiful-
and just
yeah.
switch out your country for the Canada.
that's right.
Right.
Yeah.
It should be
Canada,
Columbia. Yeah.
Canada.
So anyway, as soon as within 9 seconds, Bob, there were 3 fights
Okay.
in the game.
Never happened.
last week. It has
I'm-
never happened before. Yeah.
Right at the start of the game.
And each
The
time,
puck dropped and was fight number 1.
and so each time the American won the fight,
Yeah.
all 3 times, and then we won the game, which is great. So now here comes the grudge match. And this is why tickets are selling so high, and why people want to go to this game, and why people are going to watch this game, because they want to see what's going to happen.
Is it going to be televised as well?
Oh yeah,
yes.
let me tell you. It's major
If you can find ESPN, Bob, it's on ESPN.
Right. Now, does that fall under the price gouging? They're always talking about price gouging. We need water, so they charge, $10 a case instead of the normal $3.50.
Well, it's your resellers that are selling it at this
Oh,
price.
okay. Yeah. Okay.
It's your
Okay.
This one with the $1,200 is from TickPick, if you've ever heard of those guys.
Yeah.
And those are the
They
cheapest
buy
seats.
up a lot of tickets,
Yeah.
and then they'll go with the market.
So the
And
cheap seats
you can't argue.
to sit at the top of the garden, and I've sat up there. $1,200. The most expensive ones are in the $2,000 to $4,000
Right.
range.
Down near the ice.
So down by the ice. So what happens when the singing of the national anthem tonight?
Well,
Do the U.S. fans boo the Canadian national
I
anthem?
hope they don't.
I hope they don't either.
I hope that there's a class there because it's not going to prove anything. If they boo them, they're right in the same category
Yeah.
as
You
the
lowered yourself
Canadians.
to their
Exactly.
standards,
Yeah.
so why?
So I'm hoping, as an American and a big hockey fan,
Yeah.
and that they don't, and show a little bit. But I also, I worked 15 minutes from the Garden. I've been in the Garden a million times, and they're not the classiest people in the world, especially in hockey. I have to admit to it. I'm a big hockey
yeah.
fan. I just watched my granddaughter play yesterday in a big game up in Marlboro. So I'm watching hockey all the time, as a grandparent, and I love hockey. And but you have
But
to
the
admit,
fans-
some of the fans are really, how can I put it? So I don't have full confidence. Let me
right.
put it that way. If you asked me to bet right now, I
right.
would not bet.
So what do you think? Do they boo the Canadian national anthem tonight or not?
I'm exactly what Bill said. You could only hope that you wouldn't lower yourself. But, again, I've brought many people to the Garden when I had the limos.
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah.
So you know what it's like.
Oh, yeah.
Few drinks before they get in
Oh,
there.
yeah.
And I've brought my kid, both my son and daughter, to hockey games up there, and I can only sit in the balcony because that's all I really can afford. And once the Bruins are not, it's obvious the Bruins are not going to win the game. Wow, what an education you get up there from the fans that my kids got. It's like, oh boy, so I'm just rolling my ass. What I think would be better, I don't know if better is the right word, but how about we sing the national anthem for cheer the American one, And when the Canadian one is sung, or the Canadian one will be sung first. So when the Canadian one is sung, and when it ends, don't do anything. Don't clap.
Right.
Silence.
That
And
would-
then say,
that
and then
would-
the PA guy would go, and now the American national anthem. Okay, big cheer.
Right. That
I wonder how that would go
But
over.
I'll predict too is that you're going to have a lot of Canadians down.
Yeah.
Oh,
there,
absolutely.
and I think you're going to hear the
they-
boos again.
do
for
they
the
want? Do they
American-
want to get beat up?
Well, that's a good point, but I think,
Wow.
I mean, we're talking about the American fans. I've also been in Canada because my son played there
Yeah.
for Michael when he was in the American Hockey League, and they're tough.
Yeah.
I mean, you hate to say it, again, being such a big fan I am, I
sport.
coached it. It's a sport, and
It's the sport.
what does it breed?
Yeah.
I mean, you should see some of the Canadians are walking
choir boys.
walking
Yeah.
the garden.
I was
you
just
know,
going to say
yeah.
no walk in the park,
Right,
and you
exactly.
took the words right
Yeah.
out of my mouth.
So this is what this is what they're paying the high price tickets for, Bob, because they want to see if people are going to boo, and they want to see if they're going to be like another 3 fights right off the bat on the ice.
So,
And
so excuse me, Bob. At 8:00,
Bob, it
Turn
is
the-
still, we're still talking about
turn the ESPN, turn the
ESPN.
ESPN on. For you only have to watch it for 5 minutes.
But the game won't. The game doesn't start
Yeah.
until about 1:15.
Okay.
So just watch them
Yeah.
do their thing.
Watch the anthems. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, sure. It sure
Now,
will
is
be. So-
ESPN, because I'm, not a
Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever, is that on regular?
yeah. It's
Like,
well.
or is it an add-on? Because I know
No,
some
no,
of the
no, no.
sports
This regular.
were add-on.
No, this is
Okay.
regular ESPN.
Yeah.
They actually played the other games on TNT.
Some of them.
Which some of them. So
So
they're bouncing around,
so
but
should be
yeah.
should be very interesting.
Bob, set an alert on your phone.
Tonight.
Oh, wait, you want me to do that for you?
No. The question we forgot to ask, and we got time. The question we forgot to ask Bob last week was, how did you do buying your wife something for Valentine's Day?
oh,
Ooh.
Did it come down to last
Ooh,
minute?
that
Did,
doesn't
did you
sound
get,
good.
Did you get chocolates? What'd you do?
Well, I got to tell you the other story first.
Oh, good. There's another story.
The other story is I'm asking people for advice.
Yeah.
And I go into a particular bank where I like the people, and I ask the young ladies at the counter and they're all saying, well, we're hoping we're getting flowers.
Okay.
And the manager comes over and she said, I heard you asking what people are getting. She said, my husband bought me a Louis Vuitton bag.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm thinking, that guy just set the standard way higher
than you wanted.
You're back at the
Whoa.
flower level here.
So, yeah, it turned out to be the flowers.
Okay.
But and we went out to dinner.
Okay.
But it wasn't
Now,
that
did
that
you make-
other
did you
husband
make-
just scored way higher than I can dream of.
Did you make a reservation ahead of time to go out to dinner?
My wife made the reservation.
Well,
I was
see?
just going to say. Now, you're asking
So
Bob.
funny.
I'm
I
not
don't
the
know.
most
Everybody
romantic
thinks
of
the
guys.
guys are the only ones supposed to do anything for their significant other. It's Valentine's Day. It works both ways.
Sure.
Oh,
Well, you think it would, but a
no,
lot of
it
times
does.
it doesn't.
It should.
But it doesn't.
should.
But
You're
sometimes it
correct.
doesn't.
It doesn't. See, I'm an exception to that.
Okay.
Because, well, first of all, we celebrated Valentine's Day. I've been married almost 33 years. Once that we went out and celebrated Valentine's
Well, you
Day.
were always busy on Valentine's
I
Day,
had
right?
my limos,
Yeah.
busy, doing
Right,
a
right,
job.
right.
We actually had dinner. He sat in one limo. I sat in the other. We talked
Just
window to window.
hold hands outside the window.
Right.
That's romantic.
Right. That did occur once in Newport.
Oh, that's funny.
But what I've always done is make it family. So
All right.
in the morning, my children would get up to heart-shaped muffins and
Oh,
pink
okay.
milk
Yeah,
and a
yeah.
little, a heart-shaped doily that their muffin was on. It was just the whole setup, the whole ball of wax.
Okay.
I make chocolate-covered strawberries and brownies with the little decorative things.
I want to live in your house.
For my mom, I brought her strawberries that I cut the
Oh,
tops
boy.
off.
Wow.
So they were heart-shaped, put a lollipop stick in them and stuck them in chocolate, and I made her a bouquet out of them. So, I do those things. My husband being in the hospital, he was at rehab, so I hurried up and set up his table with a teddy bear with
wow.
all right, so they were fake flowers, with flowers and his, the muffin, a coffee mug that had hearts on it, a box of homemade craisin clusters, because he loves those, and a tray that had some brown. It was like a charcuterie board of pastry.
You want to get married? Do you want to get married again?
So it should work both ways. I mean, granted, a woman is not going to buy her spouse flowers, but to do something.
It'd be nice.
No, Mr. Callan, what did you do for Valentine's Day?
Yeah.
Flowers.
Okay.
Flowers and
That's the easy way.
it was easy.
Easy way out.
It was funny because I went up to Belo's to get the flowers. My wife, which is great because it really cost me less money because my wife loves carnations and doesn't want roses, which is great because carnations last forever.
Carnations
Roses
absolutely
die in a
last
week.
longer. Yep.
And I also saw a box of ice melt. Oh, I'm gonna get that too.
Oh, did you give it? Did you give her
Got
that?
a little something for myself.
Oh! I thought you were
This
giving
is
it
for
to
me.
her.
So I got her flowers.
Because
Yeah,
if excuse me, I have one thing years ago because I'm not a big flower person or a chocolate and my family knows me, and my wife said to me, "What did you do wrong?" And now we've been married.
that's a
We're
tough
married
one.
we're married 62 years. But when I brought flowers home this one time, don't
What
ask
did
me
you
What did you do wrong?
what did I do wrong.
That's all right. I'm still
That is so
on
funny.
the Louis Vuitton bag. What did he do? I'm still there.
No,
You like that one?
no on the Louis Vuitton.
I'm still there.
Oh,
But
he's a great. I know them both. He's
Yeah.
a great guy. He didn't do anything. It was just like, whoa, you just set the
yeah, no,
standards
you're in trouble.
way higher
But you know
than
what?
anybody else
When
can
it
do.
when it comes to flowers, all right. So Valentine's Day was Friday. I would have preferred. I didn't get anything for Valentine's Day except my son went and bought me chocolate again. Hubby's in the hospital, but my son did go to Pambilio's or Pandolfi's and
Okay.
bought me a box of chocolate, and he wouldn't even eat one because he said, "Ma, they're so expensive. I couldn't buy you a bigger box." I mean, they're like $30 a pound. So, or actually, it was 31 a pound. But anyway, so he bought me a nice box of chocolate, which was nice. But I would rather get flowers on
Any day.
any day
Right,
than
okay.
Valentine's
that-
because
that's
it's
a
almost
good-
like you have to.
Yeah.
Maybe I should do that. I could get
Yeah.
myself out of a lot of trouble.
Randomly.
I like that.
You just
I
gotta
like
keep
your idea
hearing.
though when you brought home the bag of ice melt. That's
That
that's
was me.
something.
That was
practical.
him.
That was me.
That's him.
You brought home a
Something
bag
fun.
of ice melt
No.
for Valentine's Day.
Well, it wasn't for her.
Yeah.
They happened to sell it. And I said, oh, I need this.
Yeah.
Man, you are so lucky that you live in Massachusetts. I mean, your
Yes.
wife would be banging on my door for the divorce papers right now.
Maybe. All right, we're going to take a break here on the Coffee and Program. More coming up. We've got a couple of notes to get to, and we will when we come back.
Let's check the entertainment at Chan's on Main Street in Woonsocket. Tomorrow night, Friday night, February 21st, Sugar Ray and the Blue Tones. Ah, yes, award-winning legendary rock and traditional blues band. 20 in advance, 25 at the door. Show starts at 8 o'clock, goes till 10. Then on Saturday night, the 22nd, Donna Byrne with the Marshall Wood Trio. Donna was one of Tony Bennett's favorite singers. Features Marshall Wood on the bass, Tim Ray piano, and Les Harris Jr. on the drums. Donna Byrne is a jazz singer at the top of her game with sultry good looks and a quick wit. $30 in advance, $35 at the door at Chan's, 267 Main Street in Woonsocket, and oh, they got great food there too. Drop by Chan's.
Dell Technologies is celebrating with anniversary savings on their most popular tech. For a limited time only, save on select next-gen PCs like the XPS 16, powered by Intel Core Ultra processors and more. Plus, curate your dream setup with great deals on select monitors, mice, and more must-have electronics and accessories. When you shop online at Dell.com/deals, you'll have access to leading-edge technology to match your forward-thinking spirit and free shipping on everything. Again, that's Dell.com/deals.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. I mean, mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted right here in Rhode Island. Down East Coffee Roasters is available at all Little General stores.
Have you heard of Scott McGee with Remax Properties? He's been selling real estate in Rhode Island and Massachusetts for the last 17 years, and you can see that he loves what he does. Scott, as well as his team, take pride in what they call the fair and honest team. No gimmicks. And no, they're not buying your house if it doesn't sell, etc. Just fair and honest real estate. Scott personally works with tons of sellers and buyers and specializes in residential properties as well as commercial, and he's always very fair and offers super competitive rates. Remember, this is probably the biggest move in dollars that you will ever spend or receive. You want to go with a trusted and experienced agent. Scott is fair, honest, and modest, always puts the clients first. And he also dealt with literally almost any situation. You really need to look at your real estate needs as a business. You want to pay and get the right money now so that you're not paying for it later. Trust me. So why not give Scott McGee a call at 401-639-2906. That's 401-639-2906.
It's Coffee and on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here, along with Bob Lauder, Sue Tessier McKenzie, and Bill Murray. And Sue, time for first message from the Blackstone Valley Call-in-Times.
Good morning, everybody. So it's that weird time of year where, business is slow because of the cold. Nobody wants to go out, and it's school vacation and all that good stuff. And many people say, no, I'm not going to advertise right now. Well, now's the time you need to advertise. Now's the time you need to get your specials out there, what you're offering for the month of February. Much like us, we offer a special to run your ad, 6 days a week. Of course, sizes and prices vary. We also planning March, and right now we're getting ready to do our Brain Injury Awareness Month special feature, which many of you know my husband has a brain injury, and part of the proceeds go to the Brain Injury Association of Rhode Island, which many people don't even know exists. So if you're interested in running something for the month of February, we've got a great winter special, or starting March for the Brain Injury Association special feature for Brain Injury Awareness Month. You can give me a call on my cell phone at 401-487-4136.
All right, Sue, thanks. Got a couple of notes called in, 766-1240. One is to the panel, what is moving into the old Sears on Diamond Hill Road? Well, according to Mayor Chris Beauchamp, a supermarket.
But
is
nobody
coming.
knows what the
But he
type.
won't say the name just yet. They haven't crossed all the T's and dotted all the I's.
He can't.
So he can't
until
name
he
it.
knows exactly.
He wants to name it as soon as possible. He thinks they're going to do some renovations and hopes that they'll be in and up and running it by the fall.
Right.
But we don't have a name yet. So, every time, and Mayor Beauchamp will be back on Coffee In. He comes in once a month. Every time he comes in, it'd be the first question.
Right, and the
Tell us
size,
who it is.
the
Not yet.
size of the
Okay.
building doesn't warrant like a Shaw's or a
No, it's
Stop
too
and Shop
small.
or anything like
It's
that.
30,000 square feet. So it's going to be something
it doesn't
smaller than
warrant
that.
anything like that.
But those big shops are dying.
Yeah.
So it's probably. I mean, what's that other one? Market Basket.
Too small
Too
for Market
small, too,
Basket.
also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when it comes, like, I go, you have Price Right, Aldi. Problem with those two is you can't find everything you need.
Yeah.
I go to them. I'm not, adverse to going to them, but you can't find everything you need at those stores because they are smaller and they can't carry all the brands or everything you want.
All right. Bob, you have any idea? Are you hearing any good rumors of what might be coming?
I have absolutely no idea at all.
Okay.
I'll add though that so I haven't been in a grocery store shopping in 40 years, and my wife had an accident 2 weeks ago, split her head open.
Oh, no.
And she's fine now, but she all of a sudden the kid said, "Dad, you got to go out." I said, "I haven't been in a supermarket." And so I went for the first time, and I'm not exaggerating. I just don't go. And
Sticker shock?
well, I was in there, and I'm on the phone with my wife, who's lying in bed, lying in
Doing
bed
this,
recovering.
doing this.
What aisle did you say? And this, so my kids thought that I got 5 kids, and they thought it was the funniest thing in the world. Dad is shopping.
You're not the only one that I've seen, mostly men.
Oh, I know.
Are on the phone with their wives.
Telling that story.
Do we want this?
Yeah,
Do you want A? You want B?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, my problem is that I've done it 2 or 3 times while she was recovering, is that I then go in and grab things that I shouldn't be eating because it's
Right.
that looks good.
That looks good.
That's one of my
Don't,
reasons.
you know,
for-
they
yeah.
say don't go in hungry.
No,
I mean,
exactly. I
that's
know it by
partly
now.
why.
But
I
at
come
least
home
you
and-
found the place. Some of us still looking for Almax and A&P.
Well,
I mean,
well, I said to a waitress the day that I was going shopping, I was out to lunch, and I said to her, she really thought I was being serious. I said, where is Dave's Market? She said, you were the mayor of Cumberland for 4 years. I said, yeah, but I didn't shop. So
You know, with situations like that, you know, it always reminds me of, you know, my own situation where both couples, both people, male, female, need to know what each other does. You need to know
no,
you need
I-
to
I found that
because
out.
you know what? Find out the hard way that you
Yeah.
damn well better know how to start that lawnmower. You better know how to. And I have had to learn a lot, and now I highly recommend the women try to learn
Yep.
what men are doing and vice versa, because I have shed way too many tears
Trying
and
to
almost
figure
broke
stuff
my
out.
shoulder trying to start that damn lawnmower.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I highly recommend. So for men, get to the darn supermarket, even if you just go in to buy nothing but walk around and familiarize
well,
yourself.
I'm not going to go that far.
and learn how to cook.
Bill, were you
But I did.
amazed that they scan the things now and don't hit
Yeah, I
buttons
said,
on
what
the
are you
cash
what are you
register?"
doing? You know, I have a whole other thing. I mean, it was a rude awakening.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things going on that.
Beep, beep.
Yeah. and
Right?
Where am I? How
What's
much?
all the noise?
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
All right, and the other note that was came in is just says how did the NHL and the owners agree to have this experimental tournament in the middle of the season is puzzling because of the risks of injury. Charlie McAvoy did get hurt. Injury to the players who may be headed for the playoffs. It's bad timing. Well, it's taking place during the what would be their All-Star break.
Right.
So, and they're getting ready because they're going to do it next year when the Olympics come around. The NHL players are going to be back in the Olympics next
Yep.
year. And as everything, Bill, it comes down to money. And
Oh, absolutely.
how much money did the NHL make off of this?
Oh, absolutely. Tons. And
Between ESPN and the tickets. And,
there's no All-Star game.
And there's no All-Star game.
There's
This is it.
And they're right there because the All-Star games, even I don't even watch the NBA anymore, but they're all falling on their faces because they're just not exciting.
No.
And so this is a great substitute, is to
Yeah.
go with that. And by the way, McAvoy, he's out for a while.
Oh, I know he is.
Very serious
Hurt his
shoulder.
shoulder.
I don't know why they allowed him to play. Then he comes in and he's got the biggest hit in the game
Yep.
near the end of the game, which probably didn't do any good. You know, didn't help. But
So it comes down to money, Bob.
Yep.
And that's
But
why
now
this
the
thing's
Bruins are
going
going to pay for it because
Oh, I
he's
know,
going to be
'cause
out
he's out for a
They
while.
think he's out for quite a while.
All right, and it's funny. I did see the thing on Facebook about All-Star games because the NFL used to have their Pro Bowl, which is their All-Star game. Used to be after the Super Bowl. Now it's before the Super Bowl. But they don't even play a real game.
No.
They play a flag football game.
Well, how many players have been injured and cost their career?
Yeah,
So,
and
why
and then
would you play?
And then the NBA All-Star game, they don't play defense. So the score is always 200 to 196.
They don't play defense in the regular season either.
And so
Whoa.
that's why people are flocking
even
to
I
this.
caught that one.
That's why I
flocking to
don't.
this,
That's why I don't watch it. And I was a big basketball fan. College basketball I watch.
PC's not doing well this year.
Oh, they're awful.
It's
Sorry,
not good. So,
they're awful.
I don't think they're going to make the tournament this year.
No.
Not even the NIT. So, wait till next year, right? They just got blown
Well,
up.
did you
by,
see them last night?
No, I know they played Georgetown last night.
Oh, it was
Got-
awful.
got-
It was
got creamed, so.
terrible. So,
Yeah, well, it happens. It's a bad year.
well, they've had injuries, and
Yep.
you know, but he's still a good coach.
I'll
go.
Kim English.
I'll go
Absolutely.
with him.
And
I
I've actually
like.
heard people say, "Oh, maybe we should get rid of him." Jesus, his
Oh,
second
that-
year.
But that's normal. The people are so fickle.
Go back a
can't-
second. They
yes.
have head injuries in basketball?
Oh, well,
sure.
you go in, just look at it. You take a 6'8" guy jumping another 3 feet
Right.
and comes down and bangs the back of his head. What do you think?
Okay.
on the floor.
That floor doesn't move.
No.
All right.
Oh yeah, Bob. It's,
I didn't realize that
Oh.
basketball
But-
was that violent.
But
well,
see-
these guys are so. Excuse me. They're so big.
is.
They're so big, and they're agile. They're jumping. I mean, a 6'8" guy jumping another 3-4 is 7'1". I mean, that you're up there, and you come down and you're
long
off
drop.
balance. I'll tell you, it's tough.
Go ahead, Sue.
Go,
But, you
I'm
know,
sorry, Sue.
Bob, when you talk about that and the brain, you could walk outside, down the stairs, fall back
yeah.
on ice, hit your head, you brush it off. And then you have no idea that you could, in fact, have a brain injury.
Yep.
What people don't get, a concussion is a brain injury.
Right.
They don't understand this is why I'm doing what I'm doing for Brain Injury Awareness Month, because people don't understand they
very-
need to be seen. And this now, you know, there's Brain Injury Task Force in the state of Rhode Island under the Department of the, under the Department of Health. And they're in schools to get, so these kids, you know, they have protocols. If a child gets hurt playing football, basketball, hockey, it doesn't matter what he's doing, could be cheerleading, doesn't matter. They get hurt, there's a protocol that needs to be followed
They should.
to avoid sending them right back into the game or sending them right back to school. There's protocols in place now. That's what these organizations are working on doing.
You know what, Joe-
So you didn't even think about it with basketball.
No.
That's what's happening. That's
Well,
what's happening.
when Joe played for me, and he hit his head, I would look at him and say, blink your eyes. How do you feel? Oh, okay, then get back
Get
in.
back in there.
Get back in.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, no. I mean, and that's how they would do
Well,
it.
at
And
100%
sure.
how they were
That
doing it.
explains so much.
So much.
Of what.
I figured you'd like that. That's,
Yeah,
I couldn't
man.
hesitate on that
Okay,
one.
good, good.
I was wearing a helmet, so.
Oh.
All right,
On
we
your
gotta-
head.
Yes, we got to take a break right here. This segment of Coffee Hand's been sponsored by the Blackstone Valley Call and Times.
You've heard it before. The world is getting smaller. Places you had to travel to years ago now seem right next door. It's no surprise, then, that all the communities of the Blackstone Valley have so much in common these days that we share common interests. Keeping up with this trend, the Blackstone Valley's two daily newspapers, The Call and The Times, have joined forces to cover the entire valley in one convenient newspaper. The Blackstone Valley's Call and Times, a paper for the entire valley. At your local store, honor box, or home delivery, 767-8522.
This weather forecast is being brought to you by Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
Mostly cloudy skies today with a high near 30 degrees and a breeze from the north. Tonight, only a 20% chance of a snow shower between 8 p.m. and midnight, cloudy all night, but gradual clearing in partly cloudy skies by daybreak with an overnight low of 17 degrees. Friday's weather, sunshine and 32, a breeze from the northwest. Saturday, sunshine and 34. Sunday, sunshine and 39. Monday, sunshine and 41. Tuesday, there's a 30% chance of some rain, mostly cloudy skies and 45. And on Wednesday, mostly sunny with a high of 46.
Outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Ave and Kennedy Street with sunny skies, we have 19 degrees. For victims of drunk and drug driving, your grief is unique, but you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call the 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse offers authentic homemade Polish food to make your next meal special. Try our many varieties of hot and fresh pierogies with onions and what they call dirty sour cream. Or pick up golubki, kielbasa, babkas, or some fresh rye bread. We also offer a large selection of specialty and imported foods. Open Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, 9 in the morning till 6 p.m., Wednesdays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturdays from 8 to 5 p.m. It's Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse. Follow us on Facebook and learn about our weekly specials. Located at 855 Social Street, Woonsocket, Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse has all the authentic Polish foods you love.
Lou Mandeville here to tell you the only place to get your local high school and college scores, as well as the Pats, Bruins, Celtics, and Sox is on My Morning Sports Reports. And they are right here on ON 1240, Monday through Friday on the Morning Fun Show.
It's Coffee and on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan along with Bill Murray, Sue Tessier-McKenzie, and that guy right over there, Bob Lauder. And Bob, it's time for our first message from your law office, please.
Thank you. Good morning. This is Attorney Bob Lauder. Every once in a while, in preparation of these commercials, and to protect myself from any derisions from Diana, I drag out some old cases from the past, which illustrate the ways in which interpretation of laws have changed over the years. This morning, I'd like to begin with the case of Ryan versus the New York Central Railroad, which dates back almost 150 years to 1866. The defendant, obviously, operated a railroad, and as a result of the operation of one of its locomotives, and those were coal-fired and wood-fired back in those days, one of its woodsheds caught fire. The woodshed was approximately 130 feet from the plaintiff's wooden house. The fire spread from the woodshed to the residence, and then on to several other houses as well. The issue before the New York Court of Appeals was, is the owner of the first building, in this case the railroad owned the woodshed, liable to the second owner for the damages sustained in such a burning? In 1866, the New York Court of Appeals found that it is a general principle that every person is liable for the consequences of his own acts. He's liable for the damages for the proximate results of his acts, and not for the remote damages. And the court wrote that it's not easy at all times to determine what are the proximate and what are the remote damages. In 1866, the court ruled that while the destruction of the first house could be considered to be a natural and expected result of the first firing, the fact that the first fire should spread to other buildings which were consumed by the fire was not necessarily or a usual result. While there was a possibility, and that could not infrequently be denied, the court ruled that the spread of the fire was accidental and due to varying circumstances. The railroad had no control over them and was not responsible for their effects. Later, New York amended this rule and allowed recovery from the first adjoining landowner as a direct result of the first building and the first property which the fire jumped, and later ruled that the holdings in the Ryan case should not be extended beyond the precise facts that appear therein. Now, in 2025, most decisions on fire spreading for a substantial distance have held the defendant to be liable. If you think my office may be of assistance to you in legal matters, please call me for an appointment. My name is Bob Lauder. My telephone number is 762-4550. And the disclaimer: the Supreme Court of Rhode Island licenses all attorneys in the general practice of law. The court does not license or certify any attorney as an expert or specialist in any field of practice. Thank you.
All right, Bob, thanks. And Sue, you want to bring up something about the milk fund?
Yes. So first I want to apologize to these two people, but not sure what happened. Looks like these checks were lost in transition. One of the envelopes is listed as 75 Main Street, so things could have been put into a mailbox that we don't have a key to. But anyway, we have a Bert and Donna Dancero from Northport, Florida, that sent in a donation in memory of Mr. and Mrs. Roy Patrick, Mr. and Mrs. Roland Robinson, and Mr. and Mrs. Victor Dancero. So I wanted to turn this in on behalf of, for the Milk Fund.
How much is the check for?
$30.
Okay.
And I also have a $20 donation from a Nancy Stankiss from North Smithfield. And this is in memory of her son David and mom and dad. So I wanted to give you these, and that one is for $20.
Very good.
So I apologize for the delay, but here you go.
Thank you very much. Now, speaking of the Milk Fund, we're going to do our Milk Fund calendar raffle drawing right now.
Wow.
So, good timing, eh?
Right.
So, Bill, we'll let you pick out just one slip of paper from this. Today's winner is going to receive a $25 gift card to TJX and Marshalls. Well,
I loved
both places. You don't get 25 to each one. You can use it at either place.
Or Home Goods.
That's right. And so today's winner is Lori Matkowski from North Smithfield. So congratulations, Lori. We're going to give you a call and tell you how to pick up your certificate. You probably pick them up right here. And then when she comes and picks it up, we put her name back in to the drawing so she could win again.
She gets another chance?
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty.
I didn't know anything about this.
That's pretty
drawing.
honest.
How could I not know anything about this when I'm on
I don't know.
the radio?
I don't
Nobody
know.
asked me to buy one.
Sorry about that.
Remember that next time.
We will. All right. In the front page of today's Blackstone Valley Call and Times, we've had the story broke a few days ago that the state wants to turn Memorial Hospital, at least part of Memorial Hospital in Pawtucket, into a homeless shelter. They want to take the people that are in some hotel in Warwick and bring them up to Pawtucket. However, the mayor of Pawtucket is kind of surprised. No one told him No one asked him.
That's not a surprise.
So is that the way politics works?
Yes, it
The
does.
state says
When
we're
you
gonna do
do
this, and then we'll tell
when
the
you're
town.
dealing with the state, it's almost like a dictatorship in a sense.
We're going to
Well,
do this.
well, the reason I'm just surmising as
Sure.
an ex-mayor, the reason they didn't tell him is that they were going to have a fight on their hands, because for them to move the homeless up there, they've just moved a problem out of Warwick up to Pawtucket, which he has to deal with.
Okay.
That means police, fire, rescue, you name it. And it's a shame because I was involved back in 2016, I'm guessing now, but around that time, when they went to close Pawtucket Memorial. I was mayor. Grebian and Diossa, the three of us, fought like hell to keep that open because it affected the Blackstone Valley tremendously. And one of the proofs that we made on that thing was that, and we had facts later on because we went to a number of hearings at the health department, wouldn't listen, but our time call for rescue went up sky high because now they couldn't go to Pawtucket Memorial. They had to go elsewhere.
Yep.
So that overloaded the other hospitals, delays, etc. So that is a history, and I know that Mayor Grebian, who I know very well, has worked tirelessly in trying to make something happen there. Now they're going to dump this onto him. I can understand if I was in his absolutely, and it's not fair, and I'm surprised. What does really surprise me, not that the governor would be involved in it to an extent, unless somebody brought it to his attention. He works very well with Mayor Grebian. You have that soccer stadium because they work very well together. So I don't know. I haven't talked to either one of them, so I'm not sure what happened there. But something happened that they tried a fast one, in my opinion.
The story is that the governor and who was ever going to operate the homeless shelter, they announced it. Hey, this is what we're doing.
Okay, then that's. I'd be interested to know because they normally work very well together. That's my only point.
We'll see what happens there.
Yeah.
Now, all right, Bob. Back to Bob.
Uh-oh.
With a just an opinion. We had the story today. The Rhode Island Bar Association, which you must be aware of.
I'm aware of the Bar Association. I've been a member for over 50 years.
Well, there you go. The Bar Association of Rhode Island is voicing support for U.S. District Court Judge John McConnell. Do you know this judge?
No, I don't.
Oh, all right. He has faced criticism and impeachment threats since he began presiding over the Trump administration's federal loans and grants funding freeze case. It was filed in Providence by more than 20 state attorneys general. The Bar Association described McConnell as a well-respected jurist and called the criticism unfounded and demonstrating a disregard for the rule of law and judicial independence. I was hoping you knew this guy.
I don't know him, but I would think that if he's been appointed to the district court as a judge, he went through a vetting process. He was appointed by the United States Congress. I would think that he's very capable. I've never heard anything bad about him before. And the fact that there's talk about impeachment sort of sounds as though that is coming from the present administration in Washington and is not necessarily well-founded so much as a political threat.
All right. Moving on to other things. All right, Sue. We have another story. The State Public Utilities Commission, they're going to hold a hearing, and they want a proposed 17.5% rate increase for the Newport Water Division for customers in Newport, Middletown, and Portsmouth.
Why?
Because we want more money. That's the only thing I can think of. It doesn't say why. They just want it.
Okay.
It's kind of the way the Public Utilities Commissions work. We just
want it. Yeah.
But they must have a reason for why they want this increase. It's not so they can all drive around in Rolls Royces. There's got to be something else.
Well, that's what the hearing is about. But the question for Sue is, if it passes down in Aquidneck Island, do you think it spreads to the rest of the state?
One would hope not, because I mean, look what's going on in Mass. With Mass, it's a similar situation where a rate increase was passed, and there's a group of people, a Facebook group of people, that now they must have about 20,000 signatures now, that want to know why'd you let this go through? Oh, well, we can work payment plan for you. We don't want a payment plan. We want to be able to afford our bill, is what their big argument is. And I think something like that would absolutely happen in Rhode Island. Now, like Bob says, why? Justify why? You just said the water.
Yes.
So, we're talking here, for me, it's electric, gas. Those are my two bills. And I know others get water bills and whatnot. You would hope that the people in charge in each city or town are keeping an eye on that. Let's find out why. Why
right.
do you want an increase? Justify it.
Bill, when you were the mayor of Cumberland, did the PUC ever come to you and say, we want an increase on something going on in Cumberland? And
It happens all. In fact,
did they ever give you a reason?
No, they try not to usually. To be
There you go,
honest
Bob.
with you, and what happens, and I can remember it, is that you have to. We hired an attorney that specializes in that, because you can't deal with them unless you know all the different things. But to answer what you just asked Sue, is that in my opinion, if it is passed, you're going to see it passed other places.
Go around the state?
Because because they'll always come back to refer to, well, we passed it down here for X, and why can't we do it here? They're going to look for money any time. Supposedly the PUC is supposed to be watching everybody. In other words, they're trying to work with the utilities, and they're trying to help the people. But when it comes all the way down, if they get shoved enough, they're gonna go for an increase, and you have to fight them. But they do come to you. I know the cases we had dealing with them. They'll come to you and say, this is what's on the docket, and then it gives us ample time, as they say. We had to hire a lawyer who specializes dealing with the PUC.
I'm curious because it's on the water and you're saying it's for the
Yes.
water. That's what I'm
Newport Water
curious
Division.
about.
Well, they're just saying a typical residential customer down there on Aquidneck Island that uses 5,000 gallons a month, you'll see an increase of $127.44 per month.
Wow,
That's a lot.
that's a lot of money.
That's a huge
Yeah.
increase.
Right now, yeah, that's.
I wonder where they're getting their water. I mean, in Woonsocket, we're fortunate enough to have purchased that
Yeah.
reservoir in North Smithfield, but I have no idea where the water source is coming from for Aquidneck Island.
That's what yeah.
Yeah, so that may be more expensive to acquire the actual water from some location.
Maybe that's why. Okay, maybe they're trucking it in from Tiverton. I don't
Which
know.
would be an answer why. That's.
Not trucking it in, I mean.
Wait, no, right, but
Yeah.
at least that's the
But
the
that's
thing. is why.
that's a huge increase. That's
It is.
That's
It's-
huge.
no matter
That's
how
ridiculous.
you look how you look at it. I mean, we always had to fight. We have Pawtucket water and also Woonsocket. We buy Cumberland buys from both, and then we put wells in. Well, we put one well. We're supposed to put another well. I don't know where that is. That kind of died. It's which is a shame, because for us to protect our the water, because we're at the mercies at Pawtucket and Woonsocket. And Woonsocket's not a major player. They're kind of our secondary backup. But Pawtucket is. And if they come in and say, we want 4% or 3%,
Or
they
17.
got you over the barrel.
Yep.
But now that we have we have one well going now, and supposedly a second one was supposed to be in to take all that pressure off.
Did you say that was $127 a month increase?
That's
Yes.
a lot.
Yeah.
That's
They want a
insane.
17.5% rate increase. So if you're using 5,000 gallons a month, your increase will be $127. Obviously, if you're using less water, it's going to be less money. But that's what the average is.
Is that what I was just going to say, is that what the
That's
average is?
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a break on the Coffee and program once again. So, Bob, time for a second message from your law office, please.
Thank you. Good morning. This is Attorney Bob Lauder. After that recent journey into the distant past, I'd like to return to a more recent case which illustrates the benefit of securing legal counsel. The case is that of one entitled Verblon versus Vargas, and it was decided by the Rhode Island Supreme Court in December of 2023. The case began when the plaintiff, the owner of an apartment house, sued the defendant for eviction, seeking a judgment for possession plus reasonable use and occupancy and damages from the date of the termination until the date the defendant vacated the premises. Now, those claims are traditionally set forth in a standard residential eviction case. The plaintiff was represented by legal counsel at this time, and the district court granted the judgment for possession but denied the claim for further damages. The plaintiff filed an appeal to the Superior Court. On the date of the hearing in the Superior Court, the tenant had vacated the apartment, and the defendant and the plaintiff entered into a consent decree that had the hearing for money damages only and would be set for a later date to give the plaintiff an opportunity to amend her complaint for damages based on the alleged vandalism during the tenancy. Thereafter, the plaintiff did not file the motion to amend, but instead filed a motion to vacate the consent order and a motion for an extension of time. Apparently, there was a dispute between the plaintiff and her attorney, for the attorney requested that the Justice of the Superior Court permit him to withdraw his appearance as counsel for the plaintiff, and the motion was granted. The anger of the plaintiff was apparent, for the record indicates that she left the courtroom prior to the conclusion of the hearing and stated she would take an appeal. The trial justice denied the plaintiff's motion to vacate and granted her an additional 5 days to file a motion to amend. On the date of the trial, the plaintiff emailed the trial justice's clerk stating that she would not attend the trial but would take a further appeal to the Supreme Court. Upon appeal to the Supreme Court, the plaintiff lost the case, in part because she failed to provide to the Supreme Court a transcript of the action which took place at the hearing in the Superior Court, a necessary part of any appeal to the Supreme Court, and a fact which her attorney, had she had one, would advise her. In short, self-representation is difficult in any litigation and should always be declined by a party in a serious litigation. If you think my office may have assisted you in legal matters, please call me for an appointment. My name is Bob Lauder. My telephone number is 762-4550. And the disclaimer: the Supreme Court of Rhode Island licenses all attorneys in the general practice of law. The court does not license or certify any attorney as a specialist and expert in any field of practice. Thank you.
All right, Bob, thanks. And the Coffee and program will continue here on ON Radio.
Every winter, the state of Rhode Island prepares for the winter season, and we want you to be prepared as well. At the Rhode Island Emergency Management Agency, our top priority is keeping everyone safe, so we want to remind you to be prepared for the ice, cold, and snow. Keep an emergency supply kit, have a communications plan, and stay informed. Find more information at riema.ri.gov or visit us on social media. Brought to you by the Rhode Island Emergency Management Agency and the Rhode Island Broadcasters Association.
Ever feel like everything in life is moving at hyperspeed? Slow things down with the all-new Nissan Murano, an unapologetic refuge amidst the daily hustle and bustle. Re-energize with massaging, leather-appointed seats to melt away the tension of a busy day. Escape into your favorite music with a Bose premium sound system or set the vibe with ambient mood lighting. Because sometimes the greatest rush is not rushing at all. Check out the all-new Nissan Murano at nissanusa.com. Panoramic moonroof, ambient lighting, and massaging leather-appointed seats are optional features.
Do you hear that? Asthma triggers are everywhere. From dust mites, pet dander, and pollen, to smog and smoke, an asthma attack can strike anywhere, anytime. Be prepared with quick-acting Primatene Mist. Clinically proven to open airways quickly. It's the #1 FDA-approved asthma inhaler available over the counter. Primatene Mist. Breathe easy again. Use as directed.
Northern Rhode Island Council of the Arts is celebrating 30 years of Mardi Gras. The Coronation of the Queen is February 23rd and includes an Italian buffet. Tickets $20. The Mardi Gras Ball is March 1st, includes a Creole Cajun buffet, and will feature the Squeeze Box Stompers. Tickets $35. Tickets can be purchased from any Queen contestant or at Missy's Family Restaurant, Cello's, Timeless Antiques, Pine Swamp Place, Belo's Flowers, The Honey Shop, Creative Impressions, Vos True Value Hardware, or call 401-486-9380 or 401-257-5797.
It's Coffee In on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us on this Thursday morning. I'm Joe Callahan, along with Bob Lauder and Sue Tesser-McKenzie, and Bill Murray's here. Now, Bill, you may not know, but Bill, you worked in New York City.
I did.
Years ago. And
many years ago.
You ride the subway in New York City?
I did.
Okay. Now, some of the things the kids in New York City like to do for fun, one is they like to, and did you ever see this happen? They like to, subway surf, which is when you ride on top of the subway car as it's going.
That is like committing suicide.
But they do.
I know. I mean, I don't remember it back then. It was many years ago, but I've been in subways, and if you know where those cars are going into these tunnels, it's not like I've got a clearance.
It's like that. There's no clearance.
To me, it's like the most dangerous thing, because there was way back They stopped it because now it's out of control. Because I have grandkids that live in New York and whatnot, and they say you just don't even want to go on a subway anymore, that type of deal. However, the other thing is jumping onto the tracks. Now get this one, and laying flat so the train goes over you.
Oh, geez.
Oh yeah, no, that's a
thing.
That's a thing, and it's I'm using it's not. It's like a TikTok challenge.
Yep,
okay, I
that's
see.
what makes it a thing.
And I could not believe it because if you ever saw even those trains coming into a station, they're moving. They're moving, and again, I know I wouldn't want to be laying flat saying, "Oh yeah, it'll be easy once it goes over me." Why would you even think about it?
What are you gaining? I remember the first time I went to New York, I was with us, 2 kids and 2 friends of theirs.
Yep.
And I'll never forget it. Some family came over me. Do you know where Subway is? And I said, no, I'm looking for a Subway shop. The kids are hungry. And the kids are looking at me like, and they didn't correct me on it until later. I'm like, hey, there's a Subway. And they're like, Ma, you know they were talking about the Subway.
I'm like, oh, that's fun.
What? Yeah, that was my first time in New York.
All right, one of the new things they're doing in New York City, the kids, this isn't quite as dangerous, but a 15-year-old has been accused of trying to take the subway train for a joyride in the Bronx.
I did hear that.
This is the second time. He's jumping into the conductor's cab and wants to drive it.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, jeez.
He's being charged with reckless endangerment and trespassing for the incident that's happened on Tuesday at 160th Street and Prospect Avenue in Longwood. Any idea what that is?
Yeah, no, I know the area, but
okay.
Here's what the problem is that in the subway system, there's more crossovers and, I mean, you're going to know what you're doing if you're driving a train because it's all by light system.
Yeah.
And I don't think a 15-year-old kid's going to know, well, if this light is blinking, you know what I'm saying?
Do I go or do I not go? Yeah.
So there's so many crossovers because they have so many different trains, especially up in that area, because I know the area. That's so if you're going east or west into Manhattan, those are where the crossovers begin, for where the train has to go. To me, that is another dangerous situation.
Luckily, the police say the crew noticed a teen had entered the conductor's cab on the number 2 train, and they were able to stop him before he was able to take off with the subway car.
Why was it open?
I don't know.
All
right. Police say he's also one of 6 teens charged with driving a train in Brooklyn 2 months ago in January. So this is this is a thing to do. Let's take the subway for a joyride. See if we can handle manipulating this thing. I'm like, wow. All right. Well, who knows what they're going to come up with? So this is not too surprising. A study's been done, and a health study, and they find out, I know you're going to be shocked, habits like not exercising and smoking are more likely to cause people to die young than their genetics.
For the love of God, who did that study? I want to do these studies and get paid for that easy of a job. I want that.
The study was published in the journal Nature Medicine.
Oh, for the...
Go work for Nature Medicine.
God bless us.
Okay. They looked at 500,000 people in the United Kingdom. It found that factors like social conditions and the environment seem to play a greater role in mortality than genetic predispositions.
No kidding.
Stop it.
Kidding. Is right.
Just like Sue said, give me that deal. I
want that job.
I love to have that job. That's an easy one.
I will save you money.
Yeah.
And won't even have to do research. Give me 5 seconds, and I'll answer the question for you. How's that?
And you'll be right.
And I'll be right. Exactly.
Wow. Not exercising and smoking causes you to die.
Okay.
Now, you can ask me questions about sports. I can come back with it, and they'll just publish it in Science Fiction magazine.
There you go.
That's it.
Drinking alcohol can cause you to be intoxicated. I mean,
there you go.
It's like, really?
It's all the,
That's silly.
No kidding kind of thing. All right. There's an actor by the name of Tom Holland. Do you know who Tom Holland is?
I know the name.
Okay. He went into a store, he went into a Target store in Los Angeles and tried to buy a non-alcoholic beer brand. He actually owns his own non-alcoholic beer brand. It's called BERO, okay? And in an Instagram post, Holland said he showed them his United Kingdom ID, and they said he couldn't buy it. He couldn't buy his own beer.
Oh, my God.
Because they wouldn't accept his
recognize
ID
his
from outside
ID?
the United States.
Yeah.
Yeah. I said, I don't know why he couldn't buy it. It's
was
non-alcoholic.
non-alcoholic.
So why can't he have it? And why do you need to see my ID? I don't get it. He joked about it. It says kind of ironic. I wasn't allowed to buy my own product.
Right? I love it.
Isn't that great?
All he had to do was send the kid in, and he would have bought it.
Well, yeah.
Right.
Well, maybe
Right.
it's the same deal where you go into CVS or Walgreens and you try to buy cold medicine, and boy, they need to see your ID.
Yeah,
'cause
right.
Who knows what you're going to be doing with it?
Oh.
This might be
I
the same
I
thing.
forget where I was because I wasn't feeling well a few weeks ago, and I know where I was, but can't do it. You got to get your ID. You got to do this. I said, well, don't go anywhere. I got 3 more. She's like, no, once we put it in once, it's okay.
You're all set.
So,
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, that'll do it for the show for today. Thank you very much for tuning in. Always appreciated. Bob Lauder.
Thank you for inviting me. Hope to be with you next week.
Remember tonight, Four
I
Nation
wrote it
Face
down.
Off.
ESPN,
8 p.m.
hockey, 8 p.m.
o'clock. Yep.
All right,
Yeah, we
perfect.
got a fan.
Ask your wife how to find ESPN on the cable,
Right.
okay?
Yep.
Sue Tester McKenzie, thanks for coming in.
I said we put a bet on Bob. Does he watch it or not next week? Have
I
a
forgot
good
all
rest of the
about it.
week.
All right, and Bill Murray, thanks for coming in.
It's always a pleasure.
Always
I think
fun.
Bob is going to watch it because we built this up so big.
So big.
I hope he's not disappointed.
Just watch the first period.
That's it.
Okay.
Because
Fights?
yeah,
There's 15 minutes, Joe.
Yeah, just watch the first 15 minutes.
see
Let's
what
see how
happens.
classy we are.
if you stay, if you stay for the whole game, because it's starting so late, the game isn't ending until like 11:15 or so. So it might be too late for me, kind of thing. But I'll tough it out. All right, thanks for listening in, and stay tuned for Gary Smith and the crew. Do you remember coming up at 9:30 here on ON Radio.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news. The Rhode Island Bar Association is voicing support for U.S. District Court Judge John McConnell.